What up, guys? It's Kyle. I just got this new mic, so I'm testing it out. In this video, I want to talk about how nice guys or you know more logical uh, type guys, which often is nice guys. Um, how we kind of sometimes can kill the state of play with a woman. Um, and by play, I mean like flirting or teasing or playful challenging or some type of kind of playful touch or something like that. um like I would say like I'm more of like a logical analytical person. Play is not really like naturally my thing. um I mean, I like to have fun, but it's usually more like sports or uh like trying new beers or something like that, but not so much into play. Like even as a kid, like with the men at the pool or whatever. A lot of men like to wrestle and test each other's boundaries and see how far they could, kind of mess each other up just for fun. And but I didn't really like that. I didn't really engage in touch, even with you know my peers, like male friends, just like playful touch, like wrestling or arm wrestling or it didn't even really engage in so much of like teasing, like messing with each other. Like that wasn't really my thing, and I was kind of a logical person, so it was like if one of my male friends kind of like tried to challenge me, or like diss on me, like trying to just joke, like say, "Oh, that joke was so stupid," or like they say something like that to me. Like I wouldn't really think it was funny. I would kind of just take it personally. Um, and I mean, and I'm still like that, and I think there's nothing really wrong with that. Like it's okay if if you don't like that type of male kind of dominance teasing where like male men mess with each other and like call each other like retard or whatever, or whatever, or weak or whatever. um but anyways, I wasn't the most playful person. And another thing is like even after school and college, like even after class, I wouldn't really have any problem talking like some kind of logical, what's the word, like intellectual conversation with people. While the other kids, I realized over time after class they were done with the intellectual topics. They weren't at school because they enjoyed the topics in the classroom. They were just there because it's what society does. They got to get a college degree. It's what their parents told them to do. They may get all A's, but they don't really care about school. And a lot of people don't really care about intellectual conversation because they're more into play, you know, um, like bantering and kind of messing with each other. And maybe, like a lot of men do like to talk intellectual, but uh, I realize a lot of people just like to kick back and that's how they bond, is just by kind of bantering. Um, and I'm gonna get to how this affects uh, male interaction with women. Um, and so as many people have said, women could be said to be more emotional. Um, and I found that the way that they're engaged in that emotional state is often through play. Whether it's flirting, teasing, or challenging them. It creates kind of a tension with them and kind of emotionally stimulates them. Um, and a lot of logical men, who are more nice, who are also probably more towards people pleasing and don't really want to engage in play because play sounds too risky because it's it's kind of free flowing and it's harder to control where it ends up, in that conversation. A lot of these men, they they choose not to engage in it. So like they'll kind of just ask like, "Oh, how was your day? Did you like, you know eat anything good, like something like that. And this is good, like until it kind of becomes predictable. Um, I mean, and it's not necessarily that this stuff is bad, but a lot of women want to at least know that you can play, engage in play, because like even like I guess like sex could be said to be like some form of play, right? Like it's not like a form of business. It's not like you know a transactional thing exactly. Like it's some form of play, and like if a woman doesn't know that you can engage in play, she might just be like, I don't know if I can ever get to like a point of even kissing him or whatever if he's always just answering my questions logically and just having like these kind of logical conversations. Um so like I found that one way like you can engage in play really early on is like when a woman says her profession, like you could there's usually some form of play or flirting you can do. You can be like, let's say she says she's a banker, you can be like, oh, so when are we going to rob the bank together or something like that, you know um or let's say like you're at the arcade or something and she challenges you and says like, oh, I bet I can beat you at the racing game. Like you don't want to be so logical. You don't want to be like, well, you've been driving 5 years longer than me, so I think you can win. Like no, that's she's trying to engage you in play. I mean, that's kind of more obvious, but um so you want to be like, oh, really, bet $5 on it, or if you lose, I'll buy you a beer or something like that. uh you want to at least she wants to at least know that you can engage in play. Like you don't want to be so logical, like know that when a woman says something, lots of times she's trying to engage you, trying to get you to engage you in play, um like even if she says, oh wow, your your muscles look bigger, like have you been going to the gym? One, she's trying to compliment you, but two, you don't just want to be like, yes, I do, I have arm day on Monday, leg day on Tuesday, back day on Friday, or whatever. Like you want to say something more playful, like, oh really, oh grab, oh you can touch it, oh come on, yeah, something like that, and then ask if you can like, you know ask her to flex, and then you can like arm wrestle and like pretend to let her win and then win in the last second. I don't know, you can kind of tell my stream of thought right here. Uh yeah, let me see if I have any more thoughts on this. Yeah, so one way that I would really like kind of make this mistake of not engaging in play is like in certain environments where play is like literally like the thing to do. Like for example, at parties, some at times I'd be like just kind of having kind of a logical conversation, and even sometimes ask a woman, oh, so like how's school been? And she'd be like, oh, good. And I'd be like, what have you guys been going over in class? And I'd be doing this at a party, which is like kind of the ultimate mismatch in like environment and communication style, because like a party or a get together, a barbecue or something is usually about just leisure time. So it would have been better for us to engage in something else, or to get a couple, you know a soccer ball and kick it back and forth or something like that. Because I found that during those times, and this is really hard, and I bet some of you guys have faced this too, where you'd be chatting with the woman, kind of having a kind of more just logical, simple conversation, like, oh, how's your day been? Which women do, like, they don't want you to be goofy all the time. But if you don't throw some play in every once in a while, what would happen to me is I'd be thinking the conversation was going great, and then all of a sudden, it's like some other guy would call her name, and then she'd kind of instantly like lose attention on me. It's because she could hear that the play in his voice, like that he was playful. Hey, uh, yo, uh, Amy, blah blah blah, and she knew that that when she turned her attention to him, it was gonna be something interesting, something exciting, uh, that he was gonna say, and then I don't know, and maybe everybody would laugh, or it would be something more upbeat, not so deep and heavy and more logical. And this would always frustrate me, because I would be like, well, my conversational skills are more deep. I'm like more intellectual. Like, why didn't you want to engage with me at the party, And uh, so sometimes they would just go off and talk to the other dude or other people, and it's something I've learned, that we all have to work on or like think about at least. Um, I think you can engage a person more if you're more playful and then a little bit logical too, and you kind of mix it in, and just also a little bit simple, like how's your day going? There's nothing wrong with that. Or ask her what she did with her week. There's nothing wrong with that, but you do want to engage in play sometimes, or else other people will be stealing the conversation from the girl that you wanna chat with. Um, so yeah, I mean it's okay to be yourself. You're not. None of us are gonna completely change, but uh, yeah, I think that's definitely something to keep in mind. One more food for thought. So if you really think about it, uh, like romantic attraction and like that type of bonding is not really gonna happen in like fight, flight, or freeze mode. Like if you really think about it, like during fight, flight, freeze mode, which is often when we become logical, you know, we end up being more logical in fight, flight, freeze mode because you're trying to solve a problem that's around you, to build something to meet needs, and that's not really when romantic attraction happens. So it's better to understand that you have to engage in some playful behavior and interaction for romance to grow. But if you do find someone that, I mean, you don't have to, but it's definitely helpful. But if you do find someone that, you know a woman who doesn't really like to play as much and is more logical, and you guys just kind of build an attraction, and based off of your intellects and based off of your charm, that's great. That'll be an easygoing woman to chat with. I like it, as long as she's a little bit fun as well. All right, take care, guys.